Okay, so we're recording the meeting at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and maximize this, but I'm also going to see whether I can do a Control Plus and make it bigger. It is not happening. So we get what we get as far as that goes. All right, so let's start again at the beginning. Over here on the left-hand side of the application, you've got your different services. So your messaging, if you wanted to create teams inside the WebEx app, you can do it here. You can bring in contacts. This is where you do your phone, your voicemail, and your meetings. So all of this is off the left-hand side. These are the services. This piece is what are called spaces. And there are two major different kinds of spaces. There is a one-on-one space, like I've got with Alan or Miguel, as you can see here, or some of my other customers, or some of my other employees. I also have multi-person spaces. So up here, I've got a space where I share with some of my employees and Cisco people. I've got 29 people in this space. Okay, so a space can be one-on-one or it can be multiple. There's also two different behaviors of the space, depending on that, whether the person is inside or outside of your company. So, for instance, inside my company, I can tell statuses. I can tell that my wife, who is my billing person, was active 1 hour ago. If I had somebody on the phone or busy, they would have a little phone icon down here. If you look up top here, you'll see that I'm showing a red box with an up arrow, which means I'm presenting. So that's what these people are seeing when they look at my icon in this area. So you guys will be able to tell what's happening with your coworkers if you go to reach out to them. It is not like MS Teams where it reads your Outlook calendar and depends on that. It literally knows whether you're on the phone or not. It literally knows whether you're using your camera or not. So it basically gives you the ability to tell what's going on. Whereas in MS Teams, what will happen is if you've got an hour-long meeting on your calendar, it'll block you for that whole hour, even if you're done in 30 minutes. So this is a real-time update as to what's going on. Then there's the spaces with people outside my company. Those spaces do not reflect. I don't have any idea what Jane Cleveland's doing right now, or Gary Pesta. And again, it's because they're outside my company. I do not get status updates on them. So that's basically what the status on a space is. Now let's talk about what a space contains. So I'm going to actually pick a space down here where I've shared a lot of different stuff. I'm going to probably try and grab Coy. 1 second. So Coy Potter and I have been working together for a very long time. So I'm going to go into his space. Okay. So obviously I've got chat capability here. I can chat back and forth. I can attach a file. I can do a screen capture and drop it in here. I can format my text. I can send emojis. I can send animated GIFs. I actually have my Bitmoji account tied to it, so I have the ability to send my Bitmojis if I want to. I can mention people. So people that are already in this space, I can do an @ sign and mention them, and then they'll get an extra prompt. And then last but not least, I have the ability to invite them to my personal room. I have a meetings license, therefore I have a personal room. Okay, so that's all the things you can do down here. All right, and as you can see, like I say, Coy and I have been doing a lot for a very long time. The reason I wanted to show you Coy is up across the top here. I have the ability to click on content, and I can look all the way back to May of 2021 when we first started working together. And that happens to be a PowerPoint file. But as you can see, there's a bunch of PNGs. There might be an Excel spreadsheet here or there. All of the things that I've ever shared with Coy are right here. And if I want to know what we're talking about, when I shared that particular PowerPoint, I just click here. It says show in conversation. And boom, I'm right back. So he's given me some information about a prospect that I was supposed to give call to, et cetera, et cetera. You get the idea. So the content is not just here, but it's also in the text in the chat, and you can follow it from there. I can also show it where I've got it stored right now because it's already been downloaded, and I could download it again if I wanted to. All right. I don't know whether you guys have ever seen the TV show South Park, but this next thing I'm going to show you with the whiteboard is something they use every day. So you've got the ability to draw on a whiteboard here, and anybody else in this space, in this particular case, it's only Koi, is going to see that whiteboard. Oops, sorry about that. I clicked the wrong button. There we go. All right, so that whiteboard basically is a drawing environment. These are all the links that we've ever shared. So basically, any things that we've been looking at, you know, customers or prospects or like that, anytime we shared a link. And then Koi and I haven't had any meetings, but if we had meetings in this space, they would show up here. Questions so far? I'm going to take silence as you're happy. So I'm going to move on to scheduling. So there's two different levels of license. There is the phone license, which everybody has, and then there's going to be meetings licenses where some people have those and some people don't. The phone license still lets you do a meeting. And what I mean by that is I could schedule a meeting with Koi right here. And that meeting will be audio, video, file sharing, all the things that we might want to do. If I have my big space up here with my 29 people in it, and I go to schedule, and I click schedule a meeting, it's going to invite them to a space meeting. The requirements are I have to have them in a space with me. And obviously, for them to be in a space with me, they have to have the WebEx app as well. So you can still do meetings with people, secure meetings, by the way, in the environment where you basically do not have a meetings license. The difference when you add a meetings license is you can send somebody a link, like I sent you this link, and whether or not you had the WebEx app, you could have joined this meeting. I know Cisco likes you to download the app. So the big thing in the screen is download the app if you haven't already. But then just below that, there's always a little link that says join via browser. And so you guys wouldn't have had to download anything. You literally could have just joined via your browser. Okay. The last thing I'll show you is that you can add links to specific websites or apps right here. So what I've done here is I basically have given the Cisco SMB specialists a diagram showing them, hey, this is what I do for my customers as far as doing business hours call flows for them so that they've got the ability to use the phone system. Okay, so you can just add apps as you wish, or other websites, so that, you know, if I'm chatting with you about a particular website, we can share that website here and be able to go back to it anytime. Okay, so that's basically the content within the space. Let's talk a little bit about, and I'm going to click on Miguel here just to show you this piece. Up here in the top right corner, this is a single person space. It's Miguel and myself. Oh, we lost somebody. Should we hold up or just keep going?
I think it was Brittany's having issues.
Oh, okay.
But continue. You can continue since we're recording the training.
Okay, great. All right, so in a single user space, I can promote this from a chat. I can do an audio call, a video call, or I can promote it all the way up to screen sharing. So basically, we start working on something together, we're chatting about it, and I'm like, oh, wait, you got to see this Excel file in order for me to show you what I need to do. I can literally just one click and boom, you're sharing my screen. I also have the ability to grant you access to take over my keyboard and mouse. So you have the ability to help each other right through the WebEx app. Just one button click, share your screen, and then second click is grant access. There's another button on the top right as well in that environment that allows you to annotate the document. So you have the ability to do a great deal of collaboration right from this particular piece of the interface. Any questions on that? Okay. Please stop me at any moment if you come up with a question. I want this to be valuable to you guys. So next thing I'm going to spend time on, I'll mention teams. Teams are different than spaces. So spaces are pretty much ad hoc, and you really don't have anybody managing spaces generally. You can have a moderated space, but most of the time people don't. Teams, on the other hand, if I'm a manager of a department, I might create a team that can then have spaces underneath it. So for instance, let's say I'm the manager of finance. I might want my finance team as the team. And then underneath the finance team, I might be working on budgets, accounts payables. I might have a budget space, an accounts payable space, an accounts receivable space. You get the idea. I might break it up so that I chat with different people about different things, but those are all inside my team. Because Virtual Guardians is kind of a small company, we don't have so many departments. But in the event that you want your department to have their own team, you can set it up here, and you can moderate it and be able to keep just the people you want on your team in your team. Okay, contacts, pretty straightforward. You've got the ability to add a contact here. You can create groups, etc. Now we get into the phone side. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the phone side here. This is the interface that you're going to see pretty much both on your cell phone and on your computer. Slightly different formatting, but all the same feature set. Okay, obviously your cell phone's smaller. So let's start at the beginning here. Basically, I have the ability to dial. And since I have a number pad on my thing, I can just dial from it, right? And if I just want to dial somebody's phone, that's what happens. Okay, simple as that. I also have the ability to return calls. So I can return a call just by clicking this. So this is one of my customers. I missed the call this morning. I could call her back right from here. Okay, so and if I just want to see the missed calls, I can do that. So you get the idea. Basically, I have the ability to work with, and as you can see here, I happen to be on a meeting right now, and it's showing that to that person. Okay. The other thing I can do with calls is I can pull them. All right. So let's say I'm walking into the office this morning and I've got my cell phone and I'm talking to somebody and I'm like, you know what? I want to sit down on my desk and use my microphone and speakers from my computer or my headset from my computer, whatever's most comfortable. If I click this button, it is going to pull the call right off my cell phone and put it on my computer. There is a button on the cell phone as well that will do the exact opposite. So comes 5 o'clock, I want to get out of the office, but I need to finish this call. Simple. Pull call on the cell phone app, and boom, the app is the call is on my cell phone, and I walk out of the office. So that's a feature that comes with and is built into the system. Questions on calling. Oh, one other thing, and I don't know whether we're going to configure anybody like this, but in my particular case, I've set myself up so I'm monitoring 2 lines. So I've got my own line, and I'm also monitoring Kelly's line. So if somebody calls into the billing department and I know that Kelly's been away for 2 hours, I can pick up her phone. Okay, so that's possible in the software. moving on to voicemail. Voicemail is pretty easy. So the first thing I'll tell you is if you click here on the voicemail itself, you get not only the voicemail message where you can play it here, but you also get a transcription of the voicemail that you can just read. Okay. I can return the call audio or video. I also have the ability, if I wanted to, David, I really need to get back to David, and I keep forgetting, I'm going to go ahead and mark it as unread. So now my voicemail will have a 1 next to it and a blue dot next to David. So I know that I want to pay attention to that. And when I do that on the app, it shows up on the app on my cell phone as well. So everything is synchronized from my desktop to my cell phone. If you have a desk phone, it'll be synchronized to that. So you have the ability to use, you basically have all of those items synchronized and remind you to give David Johnson a call back. Okay. Last piece is meetings. If you have a meetings license, that these are going to reflect both the space meetings that we talked about that everybody can do, as well as the meetings like this one, where basically I can hit the return button and pop back into our meeting. Okay. And that's about it for the basic functionality. I do want to go over some configuration pieces, but I want to stop at this point, take a breath, and give you guys a chance to ask any questions, or tell me if I went over something too quickly, or just give me some feedback as to how you feel about being able to use the app after having this portion of the training.
Hey Doug, can you go over how to transfer a call and do a conference call?
Yes, that's a great idea. Okay. Anybody else have any input? Miguel, I think it's a good thing you're here. Nobody else wants to talk to me. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call from my cell phone into my office line. And what you're going to see, as soon as I turn off Do Not Disturb, because it auto turns on Do Not Disturb when I go into a meeting. Okay, so what's going to happen is there's going to be a call pickup, and I'm trying to find it on which screen. Hang on just a second. All right, well, I guess I'm going to get to show you another place. If I open my call preferences, I have the ability to look and see I'm sorry, I need to be in advanced call settings. That's what I'm looking for. There it is. Missed it. Okay, so incoming calls. It should be fine. So there's where your do not disturb is. If I turn that on, the do not disturb exists in all those locations. For some reason, the WebEx app is not actually registering that a call's coming in because I'm already in a meeting. So I'm having a little challenge showing you how to transfer a call. Let me think about this. There's got to be a way to solve this problem. There we go. Okay. Oops. I got to pick the call up before I can Oops. Okay. So now I've got a call. And down here, I've got my keypad, but I also have the ability to just click down here and either put the call on hold, transfer the call, or add another person and conference them in. If you have a meetings license, you will also have this button down here that says invite and meet. So you could start out by just talking to somebody about a call and then hit the invite and meet button, and that will upgrade it to a full-blown meeting with all the capabilities that the meeting brings. I'm going to go ahead and hang up. I don't know whether you guys heard all that echo, but I sure did. And that's why it tries not to let you do what I just did, which is actually establish a call while you're already in a meeting. But basically, that's the way you would handle calls. It's the three dots on the right-hand side. That screen comes up and you're off to the races. One of the things that I did want to show you, and this actually plays right into that, is in your settings, when you see here, and I think it's in the same spot on a Windows machine, it says call window settings. Choose when the call window of your computer should automatically come to the front. You need to make certain this setting is on all calls. Otherwise, you don't get that square that I had that has the three dots that allows you to transfer or hold or what have you. So it's important to make certain this setting is not auto minimized, because what'll then happen is it'll minimize that window and you'll have to click into your tray in order to get that window back up and handle your call. So this is something that I've run into in the past, where that's been set to auto minimize, and then people were like, there's no buttons for me to transfer a call. Yeah, that's an important setting. And then last but not least, let me show you access to your user portal, which you can click right here and get to. It's going to take you to a website called settings.webex.com. And I'm going to, again, close out my screen for a second. Okay, because this is all maximized, it didn't launch the browser, but it takes you to settings.webex.com. And I will show you that in just 1 second, because it did open it on my other screen. And then you log in with your same username and password that you logged into the app with. And it's the same. WebEx usernames and passwords are universal across the platform. Here is where you reset your voicemail pin. That's an important spot. Miguel doesn't have access to your voicemail pin. I don't have access to your voicemail pin. If you forget your voicemail pin, this is the place to go. Settings.webex.com, or in the call settings environment where it says access user portal, and that'll take you here. The other place you can go to actually do some other things with regard to your services are under WebEx calling on the settings.webex.com site. So let me show you what that looks like. It's going to pop up a screen that's going to give you the ability to, in a different place, see your voicemails. Okay. It also allows you to control your voicemail settings here. So for instance, like you can see, those are the same voicemails that we had in the app, and I can delete them here, which will delete them everywhere. But if I go into my voicemail settings screen, I've got the ability to set my voicemail up the way I want it. So for instance, if you check this box that says voicemail services always, you are never going to get a call again. Every single one's going to go to voicemail. Okay. You can set it to when busy. So if you're on the phone, and it's going to automatically drop it to voicemail when you're busy. It won't beep through even though call waiting is set. Okay. When no answer, You leave your desk, you go home for the night, 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, somebody calls your phone, it's going to ring a certain number of times and roll the voicemail. Okay, so that's the way this voicemail is set up. If you have a phone, you can decide whether or not to use the red light on the phone to tell you about your voicemails. I also have mine texting me. So every time I get a voicemail, I get a text. Okay. And I can also attach those voicemails and send them to my email. Okay. So what's really great about that is, remember that transcription I showed you in the app? That transcription also works in your email. So you can basically point your voicemail to your email. I have mine set to 5 rings. The default is 3. And right now, my voicemail is generic. I'm only using my system messages. You can upload your own message, or better yet, you can record your message from the voicemail settings in the app. And I'll show you that in a minute. There are 2 different kinds of greetings. There's a busy greeting and there's an unanswered greeting. So that goes right along with busy and no answer up here. So if I'm on the phone, you're going to get, hey, I'm on the phone with another customer. If I don't answer, it's going to come up and say, I'm out of the office right now. I'll try and get back to you as quickly as possible. Any questions on voicemail setup? Okay, I'm going to keep on going then. All right, so that's the 2 things that you care about in here. There are some call settings in here. They are pretty powerful. With great power comes great responsibility. So basically, if you monkey with these call settings, like anonymous call rejection, well, what's going to happen is anybody that blocks their caller ID, you're never going to get a call from them anymore. You get the idea. Call forward, that's going to forward all calls. So again, in the settings here, you've got the ability to do some really cool things, but you're also going to have to understand what those things do to you. Okay. Back to the app for a second, because I did not go over this and I should have. Up here in the top right corner, see the phone with a little recorder at the top? If I click on that, that's going to take me right into my voicemail.
Welcome to your WebEx voice portal. Please enter your passcode, then press the pound key. If you are not calling from your own phone, please press the star key.
So if I were to go into my voicemail and enter my passcode, it's going to tell me press 1 to enter your voicemail box, press 3 to record your greeting. That's kind of a mistake. 3 is actually just recording your name. Okay? And that's for the system. What you really want to do is to press 1 and enter your voicemail box. Once you're in there, it will give you the ability to, and I believe the numbers are, press 2 to record your busy greeting, press 3 to record your away greeting. And again, those line right up with what we have on the screen here with the busy and away options on the voicemail settings. So those 2 basically are those greetings that you saw down here. Okay? So that's how you get your greetings into your voicemail, is to go ahead and just call in from the app. If you have a phone, it'll have a little, looks like a record button on it, like a cassette tape. Same thing. You press that button and it'll prompt you to enter your PIN, and from there you're off to the races. Okay, Miguel, keep me straight. Did I? Well, you know what? I can actually cheat and use the document that we had up. That'll keep me honest as far as making certain I covered everything. I think I did. In the meantime, does anybody have any questions? Okay, app overview, spaces, content, dialing, returning calls. I did not show you how to control your phone. For those of you that do have a desk phone, I can control my desk phone from right here. So basically, if I do this, now if I dial, it's going to ring my desk phone. I'm going to pick it up and it's going to ring the other party. Okay, so that's control of my desk phone instead of just using it as a soft phone. Okay. Voicemails, listen, return, mark as unread. We did that stuff. Space meetings and then WebEx meetings. Voicemail setup. Yeah, we're good there. Settings.webex.com, we did that. For those of you with phones, this has a quick guide to your phones so that you've got the ability to take a look at the Cisco phones. I think the last thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and log in real quick here from my cell phone and show you the cell phone interface, because what you're going to find is that it's very, very, very similar to what you've already seen on the desktop. And I'm not going to connect audio so we don't get a whole bunch of feedback. I'm not going to connect video because you don't really need to see my chin. And then share content. We're going to share the screen. Start. And in a second, it's going to pull away from my computer screen and pop back in with my cell phone screen. Okay, you guys should be seeing my cell phone screen. At the bottom of my cell phone, you'll see my WebEx app. Notice it's got a red dot on it. That's because I have a missed call. So if I go, first of all, the messaging part looks very much the same as the messaging part that we saw on the computer. So all the same people, all the same messages, etc. I can create a space with the plus sign up here at the top, just like I can do on the computer. You get the idea. On the calling, I have the ability in the top right of this screen, and it's very small. Let me see over. I don't know that I can make that bigger. Oh, but in the top right of the screen, you'll see a keypad right up there at the top. If I click on that keypad, it gives me this dialer. If I dial with this on my cell phone, it will reflect the business phone number. It will not reflect my personal cell phone number. So you've got the ability, and you know, I live in Florida. I might be out in the middle of the lake on a boat making phone calls, and as far as anybody knows, I'm working. The voicemail button's up here in the top. And I also have the ability to look at voicemail by clicking on this. Notice the voicemail that I put the blue dot on the computer app has the same blue dot on the cell phone app. Okay, so I've got the ability to I mean, everything is synchronized. I've got recent calls, I've got missed calls, all that type of thing. If I make a call, if I'm in a call here, there's going to be a button pop up that allows me to pull the call. So if I was on a call on my desk line, the pull call button would show up on the screen as well. Okay. And that's basically the cell phone app. Meetings looks the same on the cell phone as well. You've got a list of your meetings and you can click on them to get into them. And that's about it. Again, Miguel, if you can think of anything I've missed, please, please, please tell me.
I think you pretty much covered everything. Thank you, Doug.
Oh, my pleasure. Anybody else have any questions? You guys have been so quiet. Okay. Well, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. And I'll go ahead and get that recording out to you as soon as it's available. All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Doug.
Take care.